Yeah. Really.
Number one for me is, as we said, XCOM, Enemy Unknown, which I mean, I have never been a huge fan of turn-based games, not because I didn't like them, but because I just never played them. I assumed that I wouldn't like them before I played Advance Wars a few years ago. It turns out I did, but still never found one that wasn't Advance Wars to play. Never bothered to try, to be honest. Yeah. And about a month before XCOM came out, I suddenly had this feeling that it was really going to be for me, and I think it was just reading some of the preview coverage and some of the, like, you know, when people tweet when it's before embargo, so they have to keep it really like ambiguous. Yeah. But some of those tweets, I was like, this sounds like it might be up my street, and it fucking is, man. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I'm probably, I think, about a third of the way through the campaign. Apparently, it's massive, but yeah, I'm just having so much fun. Some of the stories that have happened within the battlefield now that the AI has stepped up and it's doing stuff like suppressing me and flanking me properly and throwing different things at me, like, so just some of the fucking stories, man, that have happened. Just like all my team, like my A team, my fucking guys have been there since the beginning, just getting crushed, losing Nigel Benn, which is a fucking sad moment, man, honestly. And then, like, my brother was lying bleeding out on the floor, and my captain, my major Henderson, had to, like, kill people and jumping over things and shotgunning people. And obviously this is happening turn-based, so but it kind of feels like it's not. When you get so into it, it almost feels organic, like it's actually happening in a Halo sort of way almost. And then I'm really getting into the base building stuff as well, like the sort of push and pull of, do you help this country, do you help this country, do I put my resources in here? I thought that would be the bit that turned me off, but I'm actually getting into that as well. But it's those moments on the battlefield where the tactics and all the ideas come together, and oh man, when your troops panic and they freak out and they freak your other troops out, and it just gets me excited thinking about it, and I never thought I'd ever feel like that about a strategy game.
Yeah, I'm more or less in the same boat. It is a tremendous game, and it's the one, aside from Advance Wars, it's the one turn-based strategy game that I'd say to anybody, even if they think they're not interested in it, just try it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the demo, so I don't know if that's a good indication of what you get. Although, I mean, the only thing I'll say is that the resource management part of it is like half the game.
Yes.
And I wasn't quite prepared for that.
Right.
And although it explains itself quite well during the opening hour or so, the stabilizers come off after that, and I was just kind of lost. And there was, I knew what everything was, and I knew broadly what I had to do. But for example, I've lost Canada now. I lost Canada hours ago because they withdraw funding if you don't protect them.
Yeah.
And it kept saying, put a satellite there, and then every time I get my scientists to build a satellite and then put it over there, and they'd be like, you need to build an uplink, and I was pissing around for ages trying to figure out how I did that.
Right.
And a lot of the time in the menus is in-game time as well. If you move around too much,
yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end that's it. They've withdrew funding. Yeah. They're done. And I'm like, fuck. Because I felt that the game didn't really go out of its way to show me exactly how everything worked, and I tried looking for help or anything, and that was a little bit frustrating. It is a PC game at heart, and that means that it's unforgiving. I mean, we play console games predominantly, and we are used to having our hands held a little bit. If you don't keep up with this, it will fucking run away and leave you to die.
Yeah.
You have to be on the same page as it constantly, and that was really refreshing, but having said that, I mean, I know people have said that you can play it for 10, 12, 15 hours and then effectively lose at the end of all that. I kind of want to do that so I can start again.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. If that happens to me on my playthrough, I'm okay with that.
The levels are randomly generated, aren't they?
Yeah, I think sort of semi-randomly generated, so there's like specific missions that happen every single time you play through. I don't know how strict those maps are, but I think the enemy placements are still random, and then I think the stuff like the abductions that come in are more randomly generated. Yeah. So there's like a certain sort of bunch of like tile styles or whatever, and it'll randomly generate the scenery and the enemy placements and the enemy types and things like that, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think it's pretty different every time you play through.
Yeah. It's yet another bastard game that just wants me to lose my life to it, and I just don't have the fecking time to do it.
The thing that's really, everyone talks about it, but that has got me is the attachment that you get to your soldiers. Did you put the download code in so you can customise their armour and stuff like that?
I don't think I did. No.
It's an online pass basically, but all it gives you is the option to change the colour and change the. There's a couple of different armour types. You can give them like Halo style helmets and stuff. So you could go up with this like band of Power Rangers basically, the guys in electric pink and things like that. And yeah, just like I said, you died. Another friend of ours died very quickly, but I've had like Roger Gracie, one of the greatest jiu-jitsu fighters ever, died in his first mission, in his first turn of his first mission. Disappointing.
Yeah.
But yeah, my sniper Horatio Ducher, he's out there repping hard. Nigel Benn, he will be missed.
R.I.P. I like the little the memorial bit you can go to where you can see with the bagpipes playing and stuff.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the end of what's that game? How can I not remember what it's called? The game with the little soldiers walking around. All-time
Cannon
classic.
Fodder.
Cannon Fodder. That's it.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Jules and Jobs going on the screen. That was great. Reminded me a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I think it's just a fantastic game. And with regards to characters, I mean, it's funny how you single some out and you're like, when I started, I was like, you're my boy. Fat Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm like, you're my boy. He's my guy. And then I had Dennis Rodman and I had Fat Marlon Brando. Like,
you renamed.
Yeah, you've got to change the names.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Brando, Lieutenant DiCaprio, and all that.
Nice.
Almost exactly what happened to your guy. Fat Leonardo DiCaprio just walked out into the field and got fucking slaughtered straight away. And I was like, he was my geezer. I was going to get behind him and stat him up and just... but now I've just snuck behind Dennis Rodman, my boy. He's there to stay.
He's your man, is he?
He's there to stay.
Dennis Rodman's a good one to have in the team, actually.
Yeah, he's the bad boy. So yeah, it's a fantastic game, but I think it's very, very. You have to be on the ball, and you have to be prepared to fail the first time out. I think.
Yeah.
There were a couple of technical hitches. From what I can tell, the console versions are almost exactly the same as the PC one, but. I've been on a couple of levels where, because you can move levels of ground, so I can send a squad mate in on ground level, I can send someone into a building on the first floor, and then I can send someone onto the roof, and you can skip between them, but sometimes it doesn't quite work and it sketches out a little bit and the perspective gets irritating.
I've had a few moments where I've gone up with my medic and gone to go and heal someone and he's just faced the wrong way and squirted his spray into thin air, which was immensely frustrating. But I couldn't work out if that was me doing it wrong or if that was the game, but I have heard there's a few little bugs and things, so there might be a little patch.
Oh yeah, they're minor. They're definitely minor. But I mean, when you're trying to strategize and you can't seem to see where you're going or understand, it can get a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
As I said, the resource management stuff's not spelled out to you, which is something that a lot of people are going to love, particularly people who play PC games. But I was just like, a little bit more information would have probably helped me out. And I don't like Fog of War. In any turn-based strategy game, Fog of War, I'm just like, I don't. It's. I think it's lazy.
I like it in this because it means I don't know what's coming.
But that's it. I don't like being asked to strategize against something that may or may not happen. There has been situations in this. I was playing a game yesterday, and I did everything within my power. I thought I was acting tactically soundly, completely, but. Out of the shadows, some guy kills me straight away. I'm like, well, I couldn't have done anything to stop that. That's why Fog of War, when in Advance Wars, the Fog of War maps, I hated because you do everything within your power to succeed, and then someone will nip out of the fog and kill you in one shot. And it's just like, I can't. There's not a lot I could have done about that.
So I genuinely don't mind it in this because I like the mystery and I like having to prepare for any possible eventuality.
Have you been killed in one shot?
Not my stat. I mean, my major is I send her out she's in assault, so I send her out into the fog of war, and I know that even if she gets set upon, she's going to be able to survive that first encounter because she's so tough, and most of the time she can take people out with a shotgun. So she's like my scout basically, and she'll go in, and then I'll send one person like a rookie up to back her up to go and have a look around. And I've been set upon, and I've lost a couple of rookies that way, but that's what they're for.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, I know that the levels, I checked afterwards, and that level where I got killed in one hit was like a very hard one because the difficulty varies.
Yeah.
But it was just fun. The Fog of War, it's never sat well with me. I'm just like, let me make a strategy and build an attack rather than just getting fucked at the last second because, But
it would be a very, very different game without it.
I think probably a better game. That's my opinion. I mean,
I disagree on that one, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay, but for all of my issues with it, it is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since a console game. I mean, when was the last? Has there ever been a turn-based strategy game on a console that's even been competent, let alone this good?
There's not even one I can even think of.
No, me neither. Advanced Wars aside, or what are the other advanced?
Handheld stuff like Fire
Yes.
Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem. That's it.
As well, but I think we were both talking about the main two consoles.
Yes.
Equivalent previous generations of.
And I can't think of an example.
I can't.
I mean, it's terrific with very, very mild reservations, but primarily it's just a fucking great game.
Yeah, and I know there's more cool stuff coming later because I accidentally read about it as well, like some of the upgrades that you can get when you start researching. Hot damn, what a game.